So let's start with a really basic question. Why do we even measure things? I mean, with our smartwatches and all these apps tracking every little thing, you have to wonder, why are we so obsessed with this? But here's the thing, this is not a new trend. This need to measure is ancient. It's just part of being human.
For centuries, we've measured things to make sense of the world around us. Think about it. Ancient farmers, they watched the stars so they'd know when to plant. Sailors, they charted the tides to navigate these huge, scary oceans and just find their way back home. The goal was always the same, to make the invisible a little more visible and to bring a little bit of order to all the chaos.
Okay, so if we've been using measurement to get clarity for literally thousands of years, why do so many of us feel more overwhelmed and out of balance than ever before? Well, that brings us to the big problem of our time. We have tons of data, but we've lost the story. Somewhere along the way, the whole purpose just shifted.
Our life has pretty much become this dashboard of totally disconnected numbers. We're tracking our steps, our calories, our sleep cycles, screen time, even our productivity scores, and every single number just lives in its own little box, totally separate, telling us one tiny piece of information, but never ever connecting to the bigger picture.
A number can tell you what happened, sure, but it can't tell you why it mattered or how it actually felt. These data points are they're fragments. They're missing the story that's supposed to tie them all together. They give us a little information, but they don't give us any real understanding.
So if our current dashboard is broken, what does a better map for life even look like?
Just imagine your life resting on 4 pillars: work, health, relationships, and well-being. When they're all in proportion, when you're feeding them all, your life feels stable, it feels supported. But when one gets way too big or another one starts to crumble, well, the whole structure starts to tilt. And each pillar has its own special job. Work is like the pulse. It gives your life a rhythm, a structure. Health, that's the breath. It's the quiet stuff that keeps you going. Relationships are the warmth, that feeling of connection, of belonging. And finally, you've got well-being, which is the spark. That's where you find meaning and creativity. All together, they create the architecture of your life.
Okay, so we've got our raw data and we've got our new map with the 4 pillars. But what's the missing piece?
It's your mood. Mood is the bridge. And I don't just mean feeling happy or sad for a second. Your mood is the essential translator that tells you the real story behind all those numbers. It's your body's own intelligence system that takes the data from your day and tells you what it actually cost you, or what it gave you.
Think about it this way. Your calendar might show 10 hours of work. Okay, that's a number. But your mood tells you the rest of the story.
You can see you spent an hour with a friend. But did that chat restore you? Did it fill your cup? Or did it actually leave you feeling emptier than when you started? The data point, 1 hour, it doesn't have that crucial context, but your mood does.
This is so important. When you feel drained or irritable or just disconnected for days on end, that is not a personal failure. It is not weakness. It is pure, valuable information. It's your internal system sending you a signal, a flashing red light on your real dashboard telling you that something in those 4 pillars is out of whack and it needs your attention.
So this brings us to the really empowering part. Once we understand that our mood is data, we can move from just tracking our lives to actually designing them. We can become the architects of our own balance.
And you know, the practice for this is pretty simple. First, you just start to see your time through the lens of those 4 pillars. You ask, where is my energy really going? Second, you track your mood and your energy. It can be a quick check-in, that's all it takes. And third, you connect the two. And that's when you start discovering your own personal patterns. You learn what truly fills you up and what really drains you.
And it's so important to remember, the goal isn't to hit some kind of perfect state of balance. That's impossible. Life is always moving. Instead, balance is a living practice. It's this constant, quiet conversation between who you are and how you live. And you just make little adjustments as you go. It's about making small, intentional shifts. These small steps create these huge ripples, because a more balanced you helps create a more balanced world.
So when it all comes down to it, it's really this. We all have the data of our lives, the calendars, the hours, the activities. But the numbers by themselves are just noise. The real question is, once you start listening to your own human metric, your mood, what story are you going to choose to tell?